Alrighty, welcome in everybody. As you can see, there's a lot going on here. We got some backgrounds. We have a guest we that may leave at any point to unload his colon into a porcelain bowl. So this is going to be a wild episode. Oh, there we go. You got the Tums. They are not a sponsor, and so we had to blur it out there. Once they become a corporate partner, then we can put their logo on. Anyway, let's go. Let's get started. Jessa, last episode we talked about Army Navy. That was probably like one of our best episodes that we've ever done by far. Absolutely incredible conversation there. Unfortunately, Army literally came up short. Literally, they came up short. It was probably the most poetic ending that you could have had to any sort of college football game, much less the Army Navy game, right? You have the two service academies battling for the Commander in Chief trophy, and it comes down to a 4th and 1 for the game. That was like, how much more poetic could you get than Army and Navy fighting over one single yard for the game?
Beautiful. That was the only disappointment I thought in the game. Great college football game, by the way, because Navy, yes, they run the ball, but Horvath can sling the rock. And so he's an exciting player. And I thought it was a great game. And my only disappointment was that Army didn't pull out the win because we are now Army fans for life. So
And Army had the chances. There were those two fumbles that they almost recovered. Jacob said it best. Cinematic fumble. Horvath, the second one with Horvath running, and then it gets popped up, and he's like, "Oh," catches it back in and falls down. And then the one on the 1 yard line that it should have been a shoe-in touchdown, and then all of a sudden the ball's squirting around like Eli's diarrhea, and they couldn't fall on it. And then Navy scores anyway. And then the uniforms. I mean, we got to talk about the uniforms. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely just chef's kiss on both sides.
so good. Um, well, and I know that if Kirk Herbstreit is listening, this might be news to him that there
Oh boy.
was football on Saturday. Kirk Herbstreit on December, I can't remember what day it was. 14th. It was maybe Sunday or Monday. He gets on a podcast. Don't know. Didn't know
Oh
that.
no.
Don't care. Okay, to yap. Who does that? Who gets on a podcast just to yap about college football? Like,
Yeah.
anyways, and I know, and
Loser.
he clipped a piece where he and his co-host are talking about how it was so weird on Saturday that there was no college football. Like, I'm home, and then the caption to the tweet says, "Saturday not having college football threw us for a loop."
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
First off, I need to preface the rest of this episode by saying that anything I say is not a personal attack, okay? Unless you are Kirk Herbstreit or Joel Klatt. We'll get into both of these, okay? Hey, Kirk, people claim that you are the face of college football. There were three college football games on Saturday, okay? There was SC State, okay, playing remind me, Prairie View. No, not Prairie
Prairie
View
View. It was
A&M.
Prairie
It
View.
was
Yep.
Prairie View. Okay, I know my stuff. Okay, I watched
Yeah.
the game. It was
Yeah.
crazy. There was almost a huge comeback. It was insane.
Such a
Double overtime. Absolutely fantastic FCS Celebration Bowl. Okay. Oh yeah, it was quadruple.
It was quadruple overtime.
It was absolutely bonkers game, okay? Kicked off the day. Hey, Kirk, guess what? This is on a network, like an in-network channel, okay? You guys were pubbing this on College Game Day a week ago. I don't know what you guys are talking about. There's no football, okay? And then you have the single most important football game of the entire college football season right after that, okay? Army and Navy, literally the service academies. If you hate football, you can get behind Army Navy, okay? This is the men and women that are serving our country, and they're playing a football game, and you don't even mention it. You don't even say that it exists. And then, on the same network as before, you have the very first bold game. You have Boise State and Washington just belt to ass. Maddox Madsen and the Boise State Broncos. There were three games of high importance, and you say that there was no college football on Saturday? This man is dead. He's gone. Banned.
No notes. That's why I didn't need to say anything because I knew that.
Don't have any notes either.
Yeah, exactly. That's how
I'm
the
gonna get a
entire
noise
internet
complaint now.
responded. No, they didn't know. That's how the entire internet responded, by the way. And
Uh,
then Navy responded just with a picture of one of their players like holding up a football during the game. Like they quote tweeted him. Kirk has since
Good.
deleted the tweet. So, Eli, welcome.
That's the real face of college football right there.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sweating so
gosh.
bad.
Yeah, your heart rate's up. Eli, did you catch any of the games on Saturday?
I didn't catch much of
I'm
them, to be
okay, I
quite honest.
promise. Kinley's checking on me. Sorry.
That's so funny.
The FCS one sounded insane. You said four overtimes?
Yeah, go back and clip that.
All right.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think SC State was down 21-0 and
Yeah,
came back.
or
And
and then 28-7, right?
yep,
Like they were down 21 two separate times.
yep, and
What a
stormed
great
back,
game.
forced four overtimes. Um, and you know what? Those marching bands go off. My goodness. I can't remember which one had just won the national championships because they hold the national championships for the marching band for HBCUs
Mm.
the day before in the stadium. And those marching bands, like we gotta evangelize whatever they do because that was awesome.
Yes, think the Ohio State band and then go in the complete opposite like cultural direction. Like instead of being like very like robotic and to the T's and making these cool formations and very like on the nose about everything, these guys are like jamming out. They are dancing, like they are playing their instruments while full on like break dancing. It is amazing. And the energy that those bands get is honestly like sometimes more than the games get. And it's well deserved because it's an incredible spectacle.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready for our the topic of today's any last words before we enter this arena?
Again, anything that I say is not a personal attack on
Great.
anyone on this podcast or anyone listening, unless you don't agree with me, and then it is personal attack on you.
Okay, cool. Elliot told me before that everything he says is a personal attack. So
Okay,
do with
sick.
that what you want.
Yeah.
Yep. So here's what we're gonna do. Back in the day when high school Jessa used to turn on ESPN in the mornings before school, and there was a show called First Take that was actually
Oh,
watchable. Yeah, actually watchable.
it was watchable?
It
What?
was for me. I don't know. It was pre-Pat McAfee show. Okay, so that might be a hot take. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we've got Stephen A. Smith and one of his co-hosts. He's had like 600, maybe Mad Dog. I don't know which one is which.
He's killed them all.
Yep, and rest in peace, Molly Karam. I'm just kidding. She's not dead. She's just not on the show anymore, which is probably why I stopped watching. That'll be me. We are going to debate
Molly was the
today.
best.
And the topic that we are going to debate is about bowl season. The role of bowl games. Do bowl games matter? What is the role of bowl games? And these two have very different takes. So let's start off maybe with some opening arguments to set the stage and articulate ground rules, okay? There probably really aren't any. You can interrupt if you want. I don't really care. This is for entertainment purposes. So let's start with Elliot and let's go to Jared. So Elliot, what is your stance on do bowl games matter? What is the role of bowl games? Cool.
Thank you. Thank you for the intro, Jessa. I'm not here as the villain of college football today. I'm not torching tradition, and I'm definitely not some playoff obsessed frat bro trying to bulldoze bowl games out of existence. It's not me. I come here today as a humble blue collar contractor. Bowl games are broken. The postseason is broken. They're looking for a fix. All I'm trying to do as a contractor is diagnose the flaws, propose some solutions, and improve the design without stripping away the character. That's all I'm here to do today. All I'm here to do.
Okay, Jared?
Okay, all right. I am here as the football guy. All right. I love football, and I think bowl games are the second most purest form of college football. And that is my take. And so if you love college football, then you love bowl games. That is my take.
So
Now,
explain. Go ahead.
no. I was going to ask, do we want to add supporting evidence now to our takes? I kind of
Well,
want to hear more.
tell me about your purity piece first, because I have
Okay.
thoughts on that.
All right. So what makes college football great? Okay. We love people playing for the love of the game. And I'm talking romantically, okay? I know there's been a lot of discussion with the talking heads, especially the ones with all the money, saying that it's all about money now. Okay, college football is great, was great, and is great because you have players playing for pride, their school, their name, their family, and not for money and contracts and NIL, right? The whole reason that college football is different from the NFL was that you have these kids playing for the love of the game, right? And not for the love of money. Okay? What else do we love about college football? We love the fun and unique pageantry. Okay. We love that it is unique, that it is very different, that it's very niche, that you don't get these kinds of like Troy and Jacksonville State throwing punches in the 13th game in the middle of like Birmingham, Alabama or Montgomery, Alabama on a Tuesday night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. Okay. We love that. We love the unique like traditions of each school. We love the blue turf. We love the boomer sooner like tipping over as it tries to turn a corner in Gaylord Stadium. What else do we love? We love that it is unpredictable. Okay, in the NFL, it is for the like you can't predict the winner and loser, but you can predict with very high degree of certainty how games are going to go, that this is going to happen. If you throw a ball to a wide receiver, he's probably going to catch it. In college football, you may have a play where the quarterback throws the ball backwards and then tries to jump on it and it pops out and goes into the receiver's hands, blah, 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 right? You have these very unpredictable moments because they're 18 to 20-year-olds running around like with undeveloped brains that are probably going to stop developing because they're playing the sport. And we also
DK
love
Scatabo.
the we also love college football because there's a chance for the underdog to pull the upset. In the NFL, everyone is basically at the same level. So, yes, you can have the Panthers beat the Rams, and it's like, oh, that was a huge upset. The spread was 4.5 points. So, yes, it was an upset, but it wasn't that big, right? Whereas in college football, you have App State beating Michigan. There wasn't even a line on the game because it was such a giant spread, right? And so you have these chances for these Cinderellas to go out and beat these bigger teams. And I think bowl games are the second best example and the second purest form of receiving all of these things. One, the fun and uniqueness of college football. Two, you got players playing for the love of the game. Anybody that isn't playing for the love of the game isn't playing. So bowl games, the people that are playing in the bowl games are the people that are playing for the love of the game. Three, you got it's unpredictable. I mean, Exhibit A was the freaking ISIS Bowl that was last night. I know it was supposed to be a salute to veterans. Don't make the title of the sponsor ISIS, okay? Um, it was very unpredictable.
The
You had these wild plays. It came down to a Hail Mary. Troy was only in the game because of a strip sack on a flea flicker. And then you have the chance for the underdog to pull the upset. 2024 ReliaQuest Bowl. You got 6-4 Michigan or 6-6 Michigan pulling an upset over like, oh my gosh, we should have made the playoffs, Alabama. So for those reasons, I believe that bowl season after rivalries, which is the clear number one purest form of college football, bowl games are the very close second to the purest form of college football.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. I was gonna say, what's the first most pure form of college football? Eli, does that give you an idea of what? Does
yeah,
that answer your question?
yeah, it
Okay.
does, it does. A couple of things that I want to argue with you on. So I'll
Yes,
start with the places that I agree. Yes, college football unpredictable. Maybe the greatest, and I have thoughts on this. College football is unique to, I think, any other sport in the world in the way that it's unpredictable. The traditions,
yep,
the pageantry, right? Here's where I do disagree. You talked about how it's different from the NFL. We are still different from the NFL, but it is becoming more like the NFL with NIL,
true.
conferences, playoff, right? Um, and see, and that's where I have a hard time because you also say, oh, like there's discussions about, this is becoming more like the NFL. This is becoming more like that's already happened. Like it's already happened. We're already seeing it happen, right?
Right, right.
And to your point about players playing for the love of the game, I agree with you. I agree with you. But the problem is now college football means a totally different thing. And when it comes to bowl games, I would give two reasons for why bowl games exist. Number one, it's to reward successful teams, right? Who win more than 6 games. You get to go play in a bowl game. As players, because you play in that bowl game, you get a gift bag. You get to go to Hawaii or New Mexico or Idaho or all those great places. Um,
Pageantry.
Mobile,
pageantry.
Alabama.
Yeah, Mobile, Alabama, Boca Raton, Louisiana. But that's the second piece, right? It's also to drive tourism and revenue, right? That is
Mhm.
why bowl games exist, is to drive people to Southern California, to Idaho, to, all these insane places. So I would maybe challenge that a little bit to say, I don't know if the bowl season is the purest thing because it is such a revenue and such a money grab by cities, by ISIS, um, by other companies. Um, and I just think that especially this year, we are now seeing that instead of just players opting out, which that's been happening for 8 years, right? Christian McCaffrey is obviously the one that we all remember. He's the first one to opt out, at least that I remember, being a big name opting out. Players opting out, it's happening more often and more often. Um, and I think the transfer portal, which I have thoughts on too, has a bigger to do with that. But I think it's we're trying to hold on to this pureness of college football when college football has moved on. College football has said, we actually don't care about that stuff. We still care about the pageantry, but we now care only about pay to play, who's going to get the biggest bag, right? For example, right, you get invited to go play in a bowl game in the Idaho Potato Bowl, right? Awesome. What do I get if I go to the Potato Bowl? Oh, you get a $500 swag bag with like, you know, a In-N-Out gift card and like a bunch of random stuff, right? And then it's like, okay, well, I could go play in this bowl, or I have an offer from Michigan State to go transfer over there and get 200K in NIL. No brainer, right? Of course they're going to transfer. They're not going to play in the bowl game. Like that's just I can't. I would do the same thing. It would be awesome. I would love to play in the bowl game, but that's like life-changing money that I'm missing out on. So those are my points to argue with. I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Now, so the second point you made about bowl season being a cash grab for cities and the Pop Tarts, I do not
Marketing.
argue with. Yes, I think it is 100%. I like at the end of the day, everything comes down to money, and that is why the bowl games exist. Is because back in the day, it was a good way for all these things in the '60s to get people to like be like, oh my gosh, Florida is really cool. Let's go to Florida. Like I live in Michigan. Oh, now I'm going to the Orange Bowl to spend a week in Florida, right? Like that, and I will not argue with that. I think this is where our ideologies differ a little bit because I think I would agree wholeheartedly with you that the way that college football is moving is NIL, transfer portal, like chase the bag, right? Like it's all about clout and money and everything, right? And I think in that way, yes, bowl season is not moving that way. Like bowl season is a relic of the past in that respect. And I think the part where our ideologies differ, and there may not even be like a big argument about which one is right and which one is wrong. It may just be what's your taste. I find myself towards the other side, which is the more romantic, the more old man yelling at the clouds, the more like glory days side of college football. Because like when I say like it's the purest form of college football, that's what I mean is that old like the romantic, the ancestral, the integral like feeling of what college football used to mean. You get that in the rivalry games because again, it's the new college football is leaking into rivalry games with these transfers that don't really care about Ohio State, Michigan, right? But at the core, like when BYU plays Utah, like these two teams just want to beat the crap out of each other. There's not like Tanner Wall ain't going out there and saying, "Oh my gosh, like I'm getting another crumble deal because I picked off Devin Dampier." No, he's going to point to the cut camera and say, "You can't throw the ball over the middle field, Damp." You know, and I think bowl season is the second tier of that, where all the people that are chasing the bag, all the people that aren't playing for the love of the game, all the people that are chasing the money that are going to transfer, they're all gone. Like you take them out of the equation, right? What's his bucket? Alex Golesh from USF, right? He wants the bag. That's fine. Like he's playing the new sport. He can go chase it. But bowl season is where everyone that is still there are those people that are like, I want to play in this bowl game because I'm a football guy. I love college football. I love my teammates. I want to spend one more game with the seniors, right? This is the last time this team will be together. And again, that's not saying that it's not true that college football is moving in a different direction, but I think bowl season is one of the two last rungs that you can grasp onto if you loved that old style of college football. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, it does. So you're saying college football, I like how you put it. It's one of the last two rungs of purity within the sport.
Right, as defined by
It's
me, who wants it to be like it was when I was growing up and nostalgic about it.
100%. But hands down agree with you. Bowl games were the best part of one of the best parts of my childhood, hands down.
Right?
We-
I remember us watching the New Year's bowl games at the cabin. Right?
100. I was just about to say that. Yep, my birthday, December 31st. Every
Exactly.
single year, I was like, I just want to watch bowl games. That's all I want to do for my birthday
Yep.
is watch bowl games because it was great. It was cinema. It was great football. Um, what's the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl?
Yeah.
The
Yep.
Yep.
what's the one? We all know the guy, Jadavian Clowney,
Yep.
the helmet
South
pop kid
Carolina.
on
Yep.
Michigan.
Ball don't lie.
Yeah,
Stop
those
the
were
world.
yes, great times. Those were such fun bowl games.
Hmm.
Right.
Yep. Okay, I
And
have Oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, you go, Jessa. You go.
Okay, well, I have a question here. I think that if you were to do a poll or whatever to of all the football guys, the people who really generally care about football, let's call them fans, okay? I don't think it's that hot of a debate to say that they are pretty aligned with what Jared is saying, right? To bridge the gap now to what Elliot is saying, is there anybody other than the fans who has any reason to preserve the pageantry of bowl games? Like, is there any reason to preserve it outside of that?
Mm, I would argue no, because the way you get more money is not from asking your current audience base for more money. The way, right, and like this is the sphere that I work in, right? It's all about engaging new viewership,
Yeah.
and the new viewers don't give a rat's ass about whether or not like BYU plays power before the kickoff, right? They don't care about dotting the I. Like
Yeah.
that is what ESPN is trying to sell to them and say why you should care, but they don't really care. All they want to watch is like the meaningful games, right? Which now in this current state is just the playoff.
Yeah.
Because that's what ESPN says, right? Is Bulls don't matter. If you didn't make the playoff, man, that sucks for you. Like, oh my gosh, BYU season's done, bro. Sorry. You didn't make the playoffs. Like that sucks. Alabama missed the playoffs last year. Man, that sucks. They're dead. They're gone. Are they going to fire DeBoer? And it's like no one is even talking about, oh, now they're going to go play like this historic team in Michigan. You get Alabama and Michigan. Whereas, again, if we were 12 and 14 years old watching that in the cabin, Alabama and Michigan would have been nothing else going on. I don't care if
Amazing.
it's 10 feet of snow outside. We are watching it on this tiny little TV, right?
Yep.
That's my take.
We can agree on that too. I think that ESPN and big media has destroyed the bowl. They are the reason for the downfall of bowl games and why, in my opinion, a change needs to take place. Because I mean, you described it perfectly. It's the playoff or bust, right?
Right.
Literally, as a BYU fan, I caught myself doing this here. I was like, man, it's gonna be so awesome when we get to the play. I wasn't even thinking about a bowl game. It was like, all right, playoff for us. And now we don't go to the playoff, and I'm like, man, that sucks. Where it's like dude, we still get to go to this awesome bowl game and play a Georgia Tech team who's going to be a really fun team to watch and to go to bat for, you know. But I think Jesse, you captured it where, or no, Jared, you said this. The average college football fan, excuse me, the new college football fan, right? The new
Yes.
college football
The
fan.
target audience.
Yep, the target audience, not us. They don't, they could care less about any of the bowl games that we're describing. They could care less about a four overtime game. Um,
Hmm.
Obviously, didn't even know it happened.
right, right. Seriously, yeah, so dumb. Um, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna lie. I actually watched the NBA Cup in lieu of some of the college football games.
Oh, you
I'm
shouldn't
not
have
going to
said that.
comment. I will
You
not comment.
you
Not
shouldn't
going
have
to
said
comment.
that. All right, we will remove that in post, I guess. We'll let the
But
editor
here's
decide if we do. But here, keep going.
but here's the thing. But here's the thing. As an old college football fan, I've I've been sucked in to the big media, right? Into saying, man, it's really on the playoff games that matter, right? And 3 weeks ago, I was like, dude, I'm not watching a playoff game if BYU doesn't get it to the bowl or doesn't get in the playoff. I'm not watching it. And now I'm like, come on, you tell me Friday night I'm not going to watch Alabama, Oklahoma. I'm not going to at
Yes.
least just turn it on, you know?
Yes.
Like, come
Elliot,
on.
just kidding.
So, so that's and this again, like you said, this is where the ideologies differ, right? In my opinion, you know, well, and I'll say this too. I'm curious what your thoughts on this are too. We now have entire teams opting out of bowl games. So it's no longer players, right? And this is a trend that's I think going to completely blow up over the next couple of seasons. We're going to see teams like Notre Dame's and your Michigans of the world who barely missed the playoff, who are going to opt out of bowl games. Because
Michigan
why would
opted out of a bowl
no,
game?
no, sorry, they didn't, but
Oh, okay.
I
like
mean, let's be
They
honest.
should.
Notre Dame was the obvious, like, if there was one team that was going to opt out of a bowl game, it was going to be Notre Dame. Michigan is clear number two on that list of teams that
100%.
think they're better than bowl games, right?
Totally. Totally. I
100%.
mean, yeah, you've got three or four Big 12 teams that
Right.
started that trend, right?
Right,
So,
right. Our own
yeah.
conference.
Hmm.
And that's where again, I blame big media for this, but it's like we talk about the purity of these awesome matchups that we get to see, and we're now being deprived of those. Like, is it
Hmm.
fun to see a couple of 5 and 17s battle it out? Of course, you know, it's football, right? But it's like I was deprived of Notre Dame BYU. What an epic matchup. And because of the way it's set up, because of the ideology that is currently in power, it doesn't matter. And so of course Notre Dame's going to be like, yeah, no, we're out. We're done.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They don't need to pay
I'm
out.
not excusing them, by the way. I think they're a bunch of whiny bitches, but I see where
Okay,
they're coming
Eli,
from.
I kind of want to get into this now. Because I'm hearing a common thread as well, is that we're aligned. If we can, we'd like to preserve what makes college football great,
Yeah,
right?
for
Like
sure.
that, right? But Eli, you mentioned at the beginning that you'd make some changes, or changes need to be made. Do you have any proposed changes? Like,
Oh, I
how
got
would
some.
you change it?
I do. I do.
Okay.
And
Okay, okay.
and I want your guys' thoughts on this because I and this is kind of what I came up with. So number one, don't get rid of bowl games. I like how the playoff did it. They just incorporated the bowl games into the playoff, other than like the first round, you know. Um, and here's my thing. Like we all talk about college football moving to the NFL model. It can't work. The NFL model cannot work for college football for so many reasons. So instead, the model that we should be looking at is the FCS model. And I'm
Mm,
happy to take us through it for maybe any of the viewers that don't understand.
yeah.
Um, the FCS has a playoff tournament of 24 teams. 24. There's 10 automatic bids from each of the conference. Each conference champion is going to automatic bid. And then there's 12 at large. Um, you would play, there are a total of 23 games in that system, right? So if you were college football playoffs going to go to 16, we know that, right? I think it needs to go to 24 because the FCS has done it great, in my opinion, right? And you can now associate, there's 43 bowl games total. You can now associate 23 bowl games with the playoffs. And tell me that people wouldn't sit down and watch Tulane and Arkansas at the Idaho Potato Bowl to go on and see who plays Notre Dame, right? So I think that's change number one. It needs to be a 2014 playoff. And then my other proposal is there's two other tournaments. So I think I suggested this a little bit ago in the group
Mm.
chat.
Like an NIT kind of deal?
100%. Yep.
Okay.
There's and to include all the current bowl games, you would have a 14 team playoff that's structured just like the NFL playoffs. First two teams get
Mm.
buys. And then you have an 18 playoff, right? And you would incorporate all those bowls within those tournaments, right? And it's essentially just tiered, right? The CFP, you're going to take all the best. The 14 team tournament is those who are just on the cusp. And then the 8 team tournament, which is I think could be really fun, could be like some developmental teams, like some programs that we're not really aware
Mm.
of. And I think you could also put some stuff in there that's like if an FCS team wants to play, then they can opt into that tournament versus like their tournament. I don't know how that would all work out, but like let's let the FCS teams play some D1 teams, you know? Like why not switch it up?
Mm.
Um so that's my thing. You'd keep all the bowl games, but everything would just mean something, right? Everything would mean something. And then the other change I had was with the transfer portal. Um with the transfer portal, if you
Yeah,
transfer before and you miss your games, you miss however many games that your team goes in your respective playoff.
Mm.
So if an
your new
Ohio
team?
State, yeah. So for example, if an
So,
Ohio State player from last year transferred before the playoffs, they would have to miss what, 5 games, 4 games of
four
the
The whole
next
games.
season.
playoff. Oh,
No,
the
no,
next
of the
season.
next season. Yep.
Mm.
Oh.
So like you have, and it's like, okay, cool. We're gonna miss you for 4 games. And if you do a 2014 playoff, you could miss up to like 7 games if they get to the championship, right? But if you're the person that's like, I'm gonna go chase the bag, cool, go chase the bag, but you're not gonna be able to play for like half the year, dude, or like a third of the year because we want to keep the purity and the passion and we want to encourage people to play in these games. So that's my word vomit changes. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
That is by far the most thought out like answer to the how do you fix the postseason? Like everybody in the talking heads on ESPN and the network are just like kill the Bulls or like expand the playoff. But making a system much alike to March Madness, which is the greatest tournament in all of sports. It is the most fair, it is the most enjoyable, and it is the most merit-based playoff that is in the history of human creation. Okay, merit equals winning your MFing games. Okay, so that is what merit is, and March Madness is full of merit. Okay,
Who are you
just getting
addressing
that
with
out there.
that? Who are you addressing with
Just
that?
just general addressation
No one
here.
in
Okay,
particular with that one?
no one in
Remember,
particular.
nothing is personal, okay? This
Nothing
is
is a
just
personal attack.
hmm
Anyway, with that said, I like that this mirrors that in that you have the tournament, and the tournament is a bracket, and people love a bracket. If you want to get more people you give them a bracket. And I think again with the way college football is moving, everybody in the social media era wants easy, new, understandable bracket. 43 games you have to
yep.
pick, bracket. Everybody's going bracket every single time, right? Every single time. And so I think that definitely addresses that. I will say I love the as much as I do love the Bulls, right? I like the idea of incorporating the bowl games into all of these like first, second, third round matchups. I think maybe you keep the sponsorship, you put the logos on the field, but I do like the idea of playing them at home field stadiums because then I think as much as I love bowl games, like right, they're always going to be number two for me in the college football ranking because number one is going to be rivalry on a home field. Like Ohio State, Tennessee was absolutely electric. The Notre Dame Indiana game, like all the games were like kind of like more or less blowouts in the first round last year, and yet the environment was insane for all of them.
Yeah.
And so maybe you say like, "Hey, we're going to put ISIS at midfield or on the 25s, but we're still going to play it in Cougar Stadium,
I like
right?"
that.
And
I
we'll
was
see
Love
just
what the
gonna
that.
church says
say
about that.
the only
Love
thing with
that.
the bowls is that you lose like home field advantage in the postseason, which I would agree that the best thing that to come out of this 12-team playoff has been the home environments in a postseason format. It's been
Yep.
pretty
But again,
sweet.
you don't have to lose that. You can just slap the
Yeah.
ISIS sticker on the 25-yard line at both times, right? The Xbox Bowl, just have Kalani or the Cosmo like playing an Xbox, right? You can have Gronk fly out to whatever this is, right? Like what bowl game are we watching? Like the
LA.
Bad Boy Mowers Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Like have Cosmo do a stunt with the mowers. I don't know. Like you can still have that home field while also appeasing all the bowl sponsors and getting that marketing and like promotional aspect in there.
Yep.
And keep and 100% with if you're playing in the Mayo Bowl, the Duke's Mayo Bowl or whatever it is, like if you win the game, you're moving on, but you also get dunked in Mayo. Like keep all
Right.
the traditions.
You
And
don't
you
need
could
to lose
even
any of it.
100%, you could even do what they do where you just cycle it too. Pick the top 20 bowl games, and if you want to keep
Yeah.
those in locations, then make those for like the quarter and semifinals and championship and just cycle them every time,
Mm,
you know?
yeah.
Yep.
I also want to address because you said like especially with like the 18 playoff like the developmental aspect of that because I do think like especially again the new way college football is going if you're not playing for the championship you don't matter right so like why play the sport because you love it that's stupid what um so I think something that Kalani has always harped on like his entire team his entire tenure here he's talked about how important bowl game is for developmental reasons because the NCAA limits how many practices you can have how many
Yeah.
like blah 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 right
Yep.
so if you make a bowl game, you get those 15 extra practices. And Kalani has said he's been open, like the seniors and the veterans, like don't practice for like a full week sometimes because they want to get reps for their young guys. He always talks about like last year, he was like, those extra practices we got for going to the Alamo Bowl are the reason that we are as good as we were this year. So the fact that you're including not only the top 24 teams, not only the next 14 teams, but like the next eight, right? All of those teams the like we're watching the Ventures Bowl right now, right? ULL and Delaware, these two teams that went 6-6, the Sun Belt and the CUSA, Delaware's like first year in FBS college football. They need these practices, right? Like that is a very beneficial to them. And you think like coaches aren't going to care about that? Maybe Notre Dame doesn't because Notre Dame is a bunch of like stick up the bums that think they're better than everybody. But I promise you, like ULL and Delaware are stoked about having these 15 extra practices. So giving that opportunity to the same number of teams is still extremely important.
How is Delaware bowl eligible? Like, how are they their first year FBS? I thought that I'm just realizing that. We're like halfway through the first quarter and I'm like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
explain
I
that one,
don't know.
football guy.
yeah, but
Well, I
I'm not
remember
complaining.
JMU wasn't allowed to play in the conference championship game last year because it was their first year in FBS.
Right.
I Delaware 6-6. They're not playing the conference championship game. I think the bowl game like stipulations are up to the bowls.
Mm,
I think the conference can
Oh,
decide if you join this year, you can't play.
got
that's
it.
stupid. Okay, well, thank you.
That is my answer. That I
Go Blue Hens or whatever. Is that who they are?
yes, except
Yeah,
change their
sounds like it.
helmets.
Oh,
Oh,
they did change their helmets or they didn't?
No, I want them to because they're
Yeah,
gross.
they look
they
like,
look like
yeah.
Michigan's. Yeah. The other thing I'm going to say about like this 24-team playoff kind of format, I do think that going to 16 teams would be a waste of time. So any like
Totally.
we're heading towards 24. Obviously, everything we're talking about to fix college football is going to take a mega ton of time, right? Hi, Moose. Um, just popping in here. Yep. Um, and the other thing I was going to say is who's going to be mad at that, right? Because you look at all these
Yeah.
other playoff formats with automatic qualifying and like the 5-11 model, the 4-4-2-2 model, right? The SEC is going to throw a hissy fit regardless of anything we do. In a 2014 playoff, it's like, what are you going to do? You you already have 8 ranked teams in the top 25. You're going to have 8 teams get in the playoff. They'll
Right.
probably complain they're not getting 9.
Of course.
Like
They always
5 and
will.
7 Arkansas isn't
Right.
in the playoff, right? But I'm thinking about the 2014 playoff and how viable that is. And like your big dogs are going to eat, right?
Yep.
But so yeah, so we'll see. I would love to
Well,
see that.
and I'm glad you brought up the developmental piece, Jared, too. I didn't realize that, but doing some research, I didn't realize that like the extra practices are huge for these teams. And with like so like if you like I did the math and the most games you would play if you played for a conference championship, you could play potentially 17 games in a season, right? You probably play about 16. But it's like and the people who are like, "Oh, that's too many games." It's like, dude, the NFL is at 17 already. Like we're not doing these kids a favor by by giving them less games. And actually, I don't think anyone's actually really concerned about that. They're just fake concerned about it, but it's all about the money. Um, so yeah, well, and Jessa, to your point, that was my last point is I really think it's gonna have to be the government that steps in and does this. Like,
The NCAA sure as hell ain't doing it.
no, they're not.
Well,
And if
can
we let
they?
the
They gave the power to the conferences 50 years ago. Like,
right,
how are
Yeah.
they going to step in and be like, okay, I'm back? Like
I don't think
that's
they
No, yeah.
can.
they can't.
Right.
They can't. And this is where, to quote AJ, we need the orange man. This is where we need the orange man.
We need the orange man. Hey,
Honestly, he could totally do this. And
he
the
would.
three, he
He
would.
would.
And I think we need a commissioner. And my 3 names for a commissioner are John Gruden, Andrew Luck, and Ryan
Ooh,
Fitzpatrick.
Oh, put all 3 of
Fitz.
them on a board
Put
together.
all
Are you
three up,
kidding?
right? Right? One Stanford educated, the other's Harvard educated. John Gruden's a nut. He's an insane person.
He's football
Like,
He's a
educated.
football guy.
he's football
He is a
educated.
football guy, though.
He is
He's a
the
football
football
guy.
guy. Yeah.
Yes. Like, tell me that wouldn't. Tell me that. I'll tell you right now. I would tune in at 11:45 p.m. on a Thursday night when it's Grambling State and Akron in the Idaho Potato Bowl, like fighting for a spot in the championship game. That would be
Yeah.
cinematic TV, you know?
Yep. I think the biggest hindrance here is that you will need the most powerful person in almost all of American athletics behind Roger Goodell. You will need Greg Sankster to give up power and control. That is the biggest stumbling block, the biggest beam in the eye, the biggest rod that needs to be removed from college football. Because Tony Petiti doesn't really know what he's doing, okay? He's just following the SEC and trying to do it a little different so he's not just copying, okay?
Yeah.
Jim Phillips is actively running the ACC into the ground.
Yep.
Brett Yormark is abandoning everything that we loved him for at the
Yeah.
beginning.
I don't know what he's doing.
It is
He's at the
Gregory
Yeah.
Sankerson that is hindering everything, okay? Because
So,
he I'm not going to get on that soapbox. We've already been at this for like an hour, okay?
okay,
But
but
Greg Sankey might have just led in the last 15 years or however long he's been commissioner. And I don't even know. So maybe he's only been the commissioner for 5 years. Whoever has been at the commissioner spot in the SEC has led the greatest coup in the history of the American country.
yeah.
Okay? We're talking Civil War. We're talking Watergate. We're talking Greg Sankey, the way that he has positioned the SEC to be the most powerful sports entity behind the NFL, and it's not even close, has been next to nothing, okay? The
Yeah.
the 8 game conference schedule, the freaking owning the SEC and owning ESPN and literally just creating a propaganda machine that just spins his narrative and whatever he wants, whatever he says goes. Absolutely insane. It makes Donald Trump's takeover look like child's play, okay?
Uh, Greg
Since
Sankey equals Robert E. Lee is what I'm hearing, essentially.
he's
Well, that means different things in different parts of the country, okay? Where I live now, that may be considered a good thing, okay?
Valid.
Very valid.
Yeah, he's been commissioner since 2015. And so you
Okay,
talk about this
lines up
round.
perfectly.
Yep.
Lines up literally
Wow.
perfectly.
Yep. You talk about this round of conference realignment, all of it. You can say what you want to say, but coincidence? I don't know.
I think not.
I
Would he
think
would he
not.
s- he's not saying no to that though, right? If he can get 8 teams into the college
Oh,
football playoff,
okay.
right?
Here's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
A
what were you
good
gonna say?
commissioner of college football is gonna make Greg think that everything is his idea. That's how we do this. That's how you deal
Dude.
with
Yes.
narcissists, people. You're
Yes,
like,
because
yes, good idea.
Wow.
8 teams, SEC teams in the playoff. You're a genius, Greg. I'll do anything you want. And then in the background, you're just
yes.
like doing your own thing. Yeah.
This guy.
Dude,
Yeah,
get
you can't
Jess
go
on
into Greg
board
Sankey's
too.
office and tell him, "Hey, we're gonna have three guys in charge now."
No.
Like that's
And
gonna
What
you're
shut
not
him
one of
off.
them.
Yeah,
what you
exactly.
do is you say, hey, we brought in 3 assistants for you.
Yeah,
You are still our head
yeah.
honcho. And then everybody, it's a coup, right? We just do the same thing
Yes.
that he's done to him.
It's a fake
How
So
old is
government.
he?
60
Is he
something?
close to like Biden Trump dementia
Um,
age? Or
Sure seems like it. He's
Probably not.
61 years old.
61. Oh, we got another 25 years of Sankey.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
that's
got a
fair.
while.
Whatever.
You know that guy's on the Zempi and everything. Like that guy's living to 100.
100%. Him and Jerry Jones.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep,
Birds of a
probably.
feather. Well, I
Here's
think this was a really good conversation. I think we are actually more aligned than I
Yeah,
think we were at the beginning of the show. I think
agreed.
we both thought this was going to be like an actual argument and debate, and yet we're both saying the same thing that
Totally.
like college football's dying and we need to save it.
Yes.
And I'm like, we need to save it because this is the only good pure thing. And Eli's like, we need to save it because if we don't, like, it's gonna get even worse. So we need to set a system in place right now that is for the future that still preserves what we love about the past. So I'm really happy about how this turned out.
Totally agree. We can shake hands on that.
good, good. We just fixed college football. That's great.
We did,
Done.
Tune
we
back in
did.
next
Cool.
month for when we fix it again. We had a playoff episode a month ago, and now we're back.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
will.
So
it does numbies on YouTube, okay? So let's just keep
that
coming
is
back to the
true.
well every month.
Guys,
This is true.
here's my takeaway from this, and I'm gonna follow through on this. I'm gonna draft a letter to Mr. Donald Trump, Commander in Chief, with all of our signatures on it, and I'm gonna send it to him, and he's gonna get it.
I will sign that petition.
Done.
Yeah. Don't show my background, but I'm in.
Yes, we can.
We
Make college
we
football
we
great again.
exactly. We have hope, everyone.
Yes.
We
Wonderful.
and the hope is us three and all of our avid listeners will definitely agree with everything we say. They will
Yes.
not disagree
Yep.
No,
whatsoever.
Another
for sure.
action item I'll take us out with is keep bullying the Josh Pates, the Joel Klats, the Kirk Herbstreits.
Yep.
Don't shut up. Cyberbullying works when people in power are being stupid. So here's I will go on record, Jessica will go on record as saying cyberbully people with stupid sports takes. Okay? Okay.
Jacob could
Certified
give us a
fresh.
master class on that.
Yep.
You know
Jacob
what?
would be a wonderful guest on
True.
that.
Next
True.
episode, yeah, like the masterclass version of how to cyberbully sports talking heads into deleting tweets.
The best.
I will also say, okay, we do need to fight back. Okay, I'm on a huge anarchy phase right now. Okay,
Love
I
it.
saw The Running Man. I'm watching all the Hunger Games again. Okay, huge plug for all of those. Okay, if you haven't seen The Running Man, I'm not kidding. Go see it. Banger. You will come out an anarchist. Okay, I did, so you can too. We need to fight back against big media, against ESPN, and against the current culture of college football. We can't let them win. We can't come out here and say, "Oh, we need to do this. We need to do this." Like I hate this. I hate this, and then just give them all of our money and all of our views. Okay, use illegal streaming services when you can. Okay, don't tune in to ESPN and give
Streamings.
them the numbers. Okay, unless you're watching the 68 Ventures Bowl on 9:30 p.m. Eastern on a Wednesday night. Okay, I am gonna say this again. Okay, I'm not going to watch the playoff this weekend. I would advocate for everybody to do the same. Okay, you can still follow it. If you do watch it, please watch it on Stream East. Please contact Jacob. He has a nice little walkthrough video of how to make it an app on your home screen.
That is true.
We have to fight back. You cannot just sit still and yell at the clouds and expect everything to change and happen. Elliot's going to write a letter to the current president of the United States. I'm going to not watch the playoff, okay? Jessa is going to eat every single Pop Tart flavor that is in her background in 60 seconds or less, okay? We need to do our part to fight back. And on a serious note, please don't, at least if you're not going to help us, don't pretend like you agree with us. Don't come out here and say, "Yeah, the playoff is stupid. Yeah, I hate ESPN." And then every Tuesday night, click it on and watch Reese Davis and get angry at him and then go engage with his tweets online. No, apathy is our greatest weapon. We need to not give them any viewership on the playoff. We need to fight them. We need to not go to ESPN for your sports news. Go to CBS Sports, go to somewhere else. Almost said go to Fox, but I don't really know if that's the place to go either. But please, you have to act if you want to be on our side, because if you're not with us, you're against us, and we'll come for you.
I did cancel Disney Plus recently.
See, we are acting. This is
Love it.
action, people. Action brings about change.
For the love of the
All right,
game.
yeah, that's my soapbox. Sorry, I just had to get on and say that.
I think that's great. Any
Seriously,
last thoughts, Eli? Any parting thoughts?
No, great podcast as always. Jessa, great moderator. So you taking notes too?
yeah,
Yeah,
fantastic
well,
moderator, Jessa.
Okay.
so I do just so I don't interrupt. Okay, awesome, you guys. Till next time. We just solved all the world's problems. I love it. Super Y.
Super Y.
Super Y, always.